your involvement with Anthony Nolan, and just in the wider stem cell charities is well known now. It's becoming forefront, and you're an active face of it, which is fantastic work. How did your journey start into it?
My journey started out just understanding that someone had blood cancer. A friend of mine, their mum had blood cancer, and they were doing a not these swabs that you have now. They were trying to get blood donations to see whether anyone was a match in a gondola down Croydon. And your natural instinct is, I want to try and help. I'll go down and sign up. So I travelled to Croydon from Birmingham just to give a blood sample with a friend of mine. To be honest, when I did it, I just did it. I had no idea what I was doing. In my mind, it was just go, see if you're a match and whatever. So I joined the register, and that was it, to be honest. I didn't think of anything more, being honest about it. There's only a few years later when I got a letter in the post to say I could be a possible match for somebody. That's when it got a little bit serious. And then I started thinking, well, what is it that I've signed up for? Right? I remember a couple of years ago what it was, but not now. Mm. But then I started understanding a bit about blood cancer and leukemia, and as Sunny was just talking about, white blood cells, and that it's the white blood cells that stop working around the body, and they need that a kickstart, if you like, through a donor. Again, in around time, I had no idea, but talking to people, not many people knew it. When I donated my bone marrow, it was about 2009 I donated, and there wasn't much literature, there wasn't much information about, but I just cracked on with it anyway, because I just thought, well, if it can help somebody, whatever. And then the information you get at the time was that, it comes out your hip, or you're out of action for about 3 or 4 months, and all these type of stuff. And to be honest, maybe because I was so young and naive, I just thought, so what? If I'm out for about 2 or 3 months, if it saves someone's life, I'll crack on with it. And it's only when a friend of my mum was actually, I told him, because I was a bit worried about it as well, because there was some information that I did like to hear. Like he said, there's some bad side effects, but these are all myths that we'll talk about later. Because I know, Ricky, you've done exactly the same thing as me. If anything, I've done the easier version. You've done more difficult. But a friend of mine, a friend of my mum was once said, I heard you're a match for somebody. I was like, yeah, I don't know about it. Whether I should go ahead. He says, you know what? That's like winning a lottery ticket. And I never looked at it like that. I said, what do you mean? He says, not many people get the opportunity to save somebody's life. You've been given the opportunity. There shouldn't be no question. And when I started looking at it like that, I thought, yeah, there isn't a question. So I got myself down to London. Going back a step, I was a match for somebody in the end, because they did not blood samples. And I went to the doctors to check as well. And I'd done what is called the stem cell procedure. Yeah. So there's 2 methods to donate your bone marrow. The one where you do it the way I've done it, and there's the one the way you've done it, Rick. But the way I did it was the easy way, which is called stem cell harvest, where they run a tube through each of your wrists, right? So 2 clear tubes, and they run it through like this machine. It almost looks like one of those old school video tape recorder ones, where you just one wheel's going one way, the one's going the other. What it is, that your blood is being run through this body through this machine 5 times over, and it's extracting all the plasma out of your blood, right? So he's extracting that, and that's the stuff that the person suffering from leukemia or white blood cancer is suffering from. Then they'll need that. So I did all that. Cut long story short, it took about 4 hours, and they said, right, you're fine, you're done. They said, just go on, rest for about 4 or 5 days, because you might have flu-like symptoms. But you know what? Again, being the youngster I was, and I just thought, you know what? I feel all right. I ended up going back to the lads' house, playing Pro Evo, having a few beers, and then next day I played for Wonderbolts in a match, and I felt nothing, right? And it feels weird, because I did all that, and I felt nothing. And I got loads of praise of people saying, "Wow, what a great thing you did." And I was kind of embarrassed by it all initially. You know, I felt good afterwards, but because the procedure was so easy, it didn't feel like I'd done anything for it. Like, you know, you just sat on the bed and you just went on. That's kind of how it felt. And I was getting like, "You saved someone's life," this, that. And it's funny because off the back of that, because I felt like, well, I didn't really earn this praise. So I ran a marathon for Anthony Nolan just to make myself,
to make it feel
just
better.
make myself feel better that, you know, I've done something worthy. And obviously I know now that what I did was very worthy. You know, it's the most worthy cause to save somebody's life. But that's kind of what my journey was. And I was lucky enough to do it again in 2021, well, this year in January. So not only have I done it once, I've done it twice. And they gave me a T-shirt, you know, for the efforts.
Twice, yeah, smashing it. Yeah. No, it's good. I mean, we'll come to the procedures and that a little bit later. So, Sunny, like, obviously, Ricky's just given us a good summary in terms of like how he got involved and you know, was it a successful match? What were the obstacles that you were facing back then? Now with Gaurav, so they've identified the issue. What was the challenges that were being faced?
You know, Ricky was mentioning you don't realize what you've done, how massive it is, because it felt like didn't feel like a big thing, but the way Ricky's explaining. But on the other side of that table, I'm looking at and I'm thinking what you've done, both you guys, is huge, because like us and the other families, the people you guys are donated to, we're sitting in that, in hospital, like we're watching Gaurav day after day, week after week, after months, just in pain, and there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do to help. We're waiting for this transplant, and so it's huge what you guys have done. It's like kind of you've taken that pain away. Something me as a father I couldn't do for my own son, that his donor has done. It's like a forever bond, something that can never be kind of repaid.